we have with us another wonderful artist, and a pretty one at that. Yeah. Her name is Nadia Souza, and she is the daughter of the lady we interviewed a few days back, Rodina. So, but Rodina is a different art form, and her daughter is in a different art form. And I was checking with her how come when the mother is in one art form, she invents another one. And I was told, and she's going to tell her this story right now, right here. So once again, thank you for coming for this program.
Thank you.
And I have not interviewed a young person ever, never.
I'm honored.
Very young person. So you're young, but tell me, in your even younger days, both your parents, your dad is a painting artist, your mom is in another area.
Yeah.
How did you get into the father side of the business?
I wouldn't quite call it that because growing up, I mean, it was inevitable that I got into the art field because they're both artists. Yeah. But growing up, they introduced me to art shows all over India. They took me wherever they went. And I was introduced to art and artists and different cultures altogether. My mother really influenced my color schemes, to be honest. She helped me break free from that, from what I used to do, that commercial kind of thing that you learn when you're a kid. And my father, he helped me with my imagination because he would tell me fantastical stories and he would encourage me to observe nature, observe things. So they both kind of played a role in who I am right now. Plus, as you go along, you meet different people.
Now that you've definitely chosen to be an artist, do you have any afterthoughts about it and say, am I sure I'm in the right place or something? Do you ever have that kind of thinking? So some young people do. They say, no, I'm not in the right place. How do you feel?
Absolutely no doubts at all because from the time I was very young, I already knew. My dad would sit with me for 4 hours every day and we would sketch. So I already knew I was going to get into something artistic related, I never had a doubt in my mind about it.
You see, there are famous artists like Hussein, like Souza, like Basil. They make millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Now, in your own area, do you feel that you one day want to be into that league? Not about the dollars, but about a name, a famous. People immediately say, wow, I know Nadia. Yeah. She's an artist from Goa. That kind of thing.
Yeah, of course. You always dream of that, when you're younger. I mean, growing up, I always dreamed of becoming somebody that everybody knows about. I want my art to speak to people in a way. I want people to look at it and laugh, mainly. But when you talk about these artists that, like Hussein, everybody struggles, right? Artists tend to struggle for some time before they finally make it, if they do make it. And sometimes I was fortunate enough to kind of get somewhere at a younger age. I'm not saying I got somewhere, but I was given opportunities at a young age. Like 2019, I had my first group show and it was a huge success. So I feel really grateful for that, And since then, I've been getting a lot of commissioned work and sometimes I do struggle because it's freelance in the end. So some months I don't know whether I'm going to get any work, But I want to get into book illustrations and continue in that line and hopefully I get somewhere.
So what is the latest commission you're working on?
Right now I'm working on storybook illustrations for a lady in Hong Kong. There are 3 of them actually, and they're writing their grandparents to kids. And they're writing stories for their grandkids. And they want me to illustrate the books, I'm having a lot of fun doing that. Right now I'm working on that.
Is that one you're holding, one of those pictures you're going to submit to the Hong Kong people?
No, this is can I show you? This illustration I made for the IFI magazine. There's a magazine called The Peacock, which is headed by Vivek Menezes. And every year he asks me to make illustrations. So I make 9 illustrations for 9 days. And the first day I made it was based on the pandemic because that time the pandemic was raging, So this was based on the pandemic and it says, don't forget to wash your paws before you eat. It's wolves, and I personify animals, so that was that. And there's a little wolf giving a mask to a rat because he needed it. Yeah.
Now this is a very, very pretty picture because, and particularly if children look at it, they say, wow, it's so nice to see the mother instructing them about eating habits, you know.
Yeah. I made this illustration for a clothing brand in Amsterdam. And basically what they do is they get different people women from different parts of India, rural parts, to showcase their talent with the brand. So this is one big line of cloth, which is woven by all these women together. And I made this for Women's Day to celebrate these women. And it's beautiful what they do because they get women and they from these places that nobody knows about, and they help them to really shine in a way with their talent and their skills and everything. Yeah.
You are celebrating International Women's Day.
Yeah, pretty much. This was made for that.
Fantastic.
These are all women. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, even this picture of yours here, what does this tell us?
I made this one for this music festival. It was a music festival which had kind of combined with the environmental group, like Amche Mole, you know, that whole movement. And this one was made for a music festival which happened in Nainital. And it was based on community there, because the community there is very, you know, they're sustainable and they grow their own stuff and everything's organic. And all these places are kind of endangered if you look at it, you know, with the way things are going. So this was to kind of protect the environment. This campaign was to help protect the environment while also using music and art to push it forward. Yeah.
So you're also an environmental activist.
I try to be in whatever way I can, but I wouldn't call myself an activist. I care for the environment in a big way, and I think all my work sort of works towards showing that. I mean, today, in this day and age, it's really difficult to express how we feel in words because of many reasons. You know, not because we can't, but because.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I try to express, and to most artists nowadays, people my age, are trying to show that you can make an impact and change through your art.
Now you say that you have done something for Hong Kong, you have done something for Amsterdam. How did you manage to get into the international realm, if you like?
I'm not sure actually, because most of the time I don't really bother to promote my work. I'm a little bit silly in that sense. But some people get in touch with me through Instagram, and that Amsterdam project got to me through Instagram. And through other people, there's this lady called Miriam Sukisha. She had an art gallery in Panjim, and she spoke to this lady in Hong Kong because she knew her, and recommended that I should make her paintings for the book. So word of mouth also works somehow still, because Goa is a small place, you know.
So this is a bit of a finance kind of a question, but does it reward you enough to make you continue getting into this, or is finance not one of your worries?
No, of course it is a worry, you know. I'm doing this for a living. It is my livelihood.
Yeah.
So sometimes, definitely I've been blessed. I've been truly blessed in the last few years to have had it quite easy, you know. I've had a lot of work and I've not had to struggle too much. But there are some months that I do, you know. I'm a little bit worried about what might happen next. But I have my parents that I've seen them as both artists. They made it this far, and they've never struggled too much. Of course, there are times that everybody struggles. But still, they carried on, and I think that that encouraged me to.
That pushes you to say, yeah, I
to carry
can do
on.
it.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
That's what.
So, talking about commissions, you're currently doing something for a book.
Yeah.
Okay. What about corporate establishments? Like they want huge murals, or they want pictures in their conference rooms, or hotels want each room to be decorated.
Yeah.
Have you thought of that kind of area of work?
In fact, when you talk about murals, I have had a few people come to me to ask me to make murals. And I have made a few, but most people, their budget is really tight, so they say, okay, fine. And Goa has a lot of talent, they do. And there's a lot of people graduating from college who would do it for, they'd have a different style, of course, but they would do it for slightly less, you know, and I would charge a little more, so then it tends not to work out.
Okay. So, in terms of your plans for the future, say between now, whatever the age is, and say till the age of 35, maybe, perhaps.
Yeah.
What do you have in mind?
I want to write and illustrate my own book.
Right.
Yes.
This is what I was about to ask you. What about doing something like this in a story form, a written story and pictures?
Yeah, that is exactly what I'm working towards. I want to start my first book this year and start working towards it. I have illustrated 2 books and written one for children, but they've both been commissioned and not published yet, so I can't talk much about it. So I made them during the beginning of the pandemic, both of them, and hopefully they'll get published. But in the meantime, I want to publish my own book. I want to get my own book published.
You know the new education policy about to be started in June this year in Goa, and all over India, but in Goa. Now, one of the things that they are very, very keen about is talking about values.
Yeah.
You know, and somebody asked me the question: how would you indicate, say, an etiquette or a value of morals or whatever in art form? And I said, let me ask this question to the expert herself. In an art form, how would you tell a child who is in the second standard that she has to not only dress herself well, but she has to respect her teachers, her elders, etc., and know the basic etiquette of brushing teeth and all the things that children do. How would you do that in an art form?
It's funny that you should ask that question. It's funny you should ask that question. I'll tell you what I think about things like that. A man came to me a few years ago and he said he had this book that he wanted me to illustrate, and it was all about values and morals, and it was fine. Okay, you teach, that's what you teach your kids, but I think that parents and teachers in school already teach kids that.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to use my art, I'm going to use it to teach them about the environment and to teach them other things that people don't teach them about,
That's right.
Because nowadays, not many people know that certain things are bad for the environment and it's killing them. And sometimes it's our own habits, the plastic that we use and recycling and all that kind of thing. Children don't know about that, or throwing garbage into they know about other things, respect their elders and parents and stuff like that. So I turned him down because I thought that already there's so much of that going on. Of course I could do it, I could teach you, I could make artwork to teach you morals and values, but I would use animals for them, of course, because I'm not very comfortable making human beings. So I would use animals in place of human beings.
That is part of the environment, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly, and it's something that they can connect with the plants and animals in my work. So I'm mainly for that.
In fact, I would encourage you to continue in that line, because there is going to be a lot of business coming up for artists in the new education policy. They are very, very strong on values.
Okay.
And they are saying that right from the KG right up to 12th standard, we must teach our children strong moral values, constitutional values, all that kind of thing. So, without being too preachy, I just want to say that please think about that seriously, because that is not only going to help our kids and our parents, but it will help you financially as well, because that is the way to go for the future. Are you into also videos and things like that?
Not really. As you can see, I'm a little bit uncomfortable in front of a camera. But I have not made any videos. I've been asked to present my work at a few places. At the Cube Gallery once, this thing called Pechakucha, this event.
Exactly.
And another time at the Royal Enfield Cafe. A few times. And I'm okay with it, but I'm not particularly fully comfortable,
What about now that you have graduated in art, you have had some years of experience now, do you intend at some point to educate kids about art form and all that?
Absolutely. I have taught kids in the past and adults as well. I used to live in Kamaketna, this place in Agonda, and I would have art classes every week. For kids and adults, and somehow you use the similar technique to go about it. Like they say, kids have a low attention span, but so do adults.
That's right.
And one would rather go about the approach with less theory and more practical. So I'll demonstrate more and tell them stories and make it funny, so that they would keep their interest. And I stopped, of course, because my work has taken over in this sense. But in the future, I would love to teach kids for sure. I would,
That's
kids
wonderful.
mainly.
Yeah. Because they are so fond of putting color anywhere and everywhere, including the walls, So
Yeah, yeah. My entire wall was covered with paint when I was a kid.
So I want to ask you a difficult question.
Oh boy.
There are young people, say in the age of around 18, 19, who are not clear about their future.
Yeah.
And they like to do what you are doing.
Okay.
What would you say to them?
It's a tough one, but so they want to get into art, basically.
I don't know. They don't know themselves.
See, that's the thing. So when kids are so bombarded with normal education, studies and all that kind of thing, and a lot of people, a lot of parents don't place importance in extracurricular activities. But my parents, fortunately, they encouraged me to play piano and to music and art and sports and football, So I think that educational institutes also should encourage kids to explore different fields, apart from just studies, because most people that come out, they're like, okay, do I become an engineer or a doctor? That's it. And then they don't really know that their potential could lie somewhere else. And,
How far have you reached in the music field?
I mean, I answered my 8th grade piano exam.
You answered 8th grade as well?
Yeah, wow. A couple of years back, but I haven't really practiced since.
No, that's okay. In terms of the examination part, forget about that.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about, could you use music, art, stories in one particular book itself? Because nowadays, you get little books where there is a passage of music in the book itself.
Okay, that's interesting. I've never come across something like that, but that sounds great. If I could do that, that would be fantastic.
No, because the more innovative you are, the better you sell. So...
Of course, yeah. There's also a line you draw about going over the top, in the end. I do want to write and illustrate.
So coming back to that question about a young person who says 17, 18, a little bit not sure about his future.
Yeah.
And he or she has a liking for art.
Yeah.
Also, as you say, doctor, engineer and all that sort of thing. How would you guide that person to make a decision?
First, what you do is you give them a bit of paper and pen or some color, and you ask them to paint. And if some people lack imagination but they want to do it, so then you try and trigger that imagination by telling them stories, guiding them, telling them what they could do in the beginning. And from there, they'll explore, and if they have the aptitude and the liking for it, they would get into it. A lot of students that came to me to learn art, they were there because their parents sent them there. They didn't really know whether they liked art or not. But by the end of it, they had a lot of fun with all the, I taught them different techniques. So then they realized, okay, fine, maybe I could do art. So what you have to do is just try.
Yeah, that's right.
All you do is begin.
Well, there you got it. You got an absolute answer to your question. If you're in the search for what career to choose, and you're still in a dilemma as to whether I should become an engineer, doctor, whatever, or an artist, and you're confused, you don't know what to do, come and see Nadia. She'll be able to guide you, she'll give you a few tests in art, and then she'll say, okay, I don't think this is really meant for you, or I think this is meant for you, think about it seriously. So let me have it. Thank you, Nadia, for your time.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it, and I think you did a very good job.
Thank you.
And continue your good work, because we need more people like you, especially in the environmental field, where Goa is falling back very badly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad, but hopefully we can make change.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.